The glossy magazine cover stared back at me from the newsstand. Text Rising Star. How David Chen built Quantum Leap from nothing. Nothing. I almost laughed. The irony would have been funny if it hadn't made me so angry. My name is Alex Torres, and 2 years ago, I watched my best friend steal my life's work and turn it into a $50 million company. But I'm getting ahead of myself. David and I met in college, two computer science majors with big dreams. While other students partied, we spent countless nights in the computer lab, fueled by energy drinks and ambition. We shared everything: ideas, codes, dreams of changing the world through technology. The idea that would become Quantum Leap started in our senior year. I'd been working on an algorithm that could revolutionize how artificial intelligence processed natural language. It wasn't just another chatbot. This was something different, something that could understand context and nuance in a way no other eye had managed. "This is incredible," David said one night, watching me debug another section of code. "The applications for this could be huge." I nodded, too focused on my screen to notice the calculating look in his eyes. "I think this could change everything. Customer service, education, maybe even healthcare." After graduation, David landed a job at a prestigious tech firm while I took an internship at a smaller startup. We stayed close, meeting every weekend to work on what we still called our project. I shared all my progress, every breakthrough, every setback. David always listened intently, offering encouragement and suggestions. What I didn't know was that he was taking notes. Detailed notes. The first sign something was wrong came when David started missing our weekend meetings. "Work's crazy," he texted. Rain check. I didn't think much of it at the time. We were both building our careers after all. Then came the day I saw the announcement in TechCrunch. Former Google engineer launches revolutionary AI platform. The headline didn't worry me until I saw David's face smiling up from the article. My hands shook as I read the description of Quantum Leap's proprietary technology. It was my algorithm, my code, my dream. I called David immediately, straight to voicemail. I texted, emailed, even went to his apartment. Nothing. Finally, a week later, he agreed to meet me at our old coffee shop. "Look," he said, stirring his untouched latte. "I know you're upset, but you have to understand. This is business. The core idea might have started with you, but I'm the one who made it viable. I'm the one who built it into something real." Something real? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "David, that's my algorithm. My code. We worked on this together." He shook his head, his expression maddeningly calm. "No, Alex. You worked on a school project. I built a company. There's a difference. I trusted you," I said, my voice cracking. "You were my best friend." "And you were an intern with some interesting ideas," he replied, standing up. "That's all. Don't make this into something it's not." As he walked away, leaving his cold coffee behind, something inside me hardened. David thought he had won, thought he could simply take what was mine and rewrite history. But he'd forgotten something crucial about me. I never deleted anything. Every email we'd exchanged about the project, every piece of code I'd written, every meeting we'd had in the lab, it was all documented. I'd even recorded our brainstorming sessions, a habit I'd developed to help me remember important details. That night, I pulled out my external hard drive and started organizing everything. Emails dating back to our junior year, discussing the initial concept. Video recordings of us working through problems together. My voice clearly explaining the core algorithms that now powered Quantum Leap. Git commits showing the evolution of the code, time-stamped and authenticated. I had proof. Real, solid proof that David hadn't built anything from nothing. He'd built it from my work, my ideas, my dedication. But proof wasn't enough. I needed a plan. I contacted Maya Patel, a lawyer specializing in intellectual property law. She reviewed my evidence with increasing interest. "This is quite compelling," she said, spreading the documents across her desk. "The timestamps, the continuous development history. It shows a clear progression from your original work to their current product." "So we can stop them?" I asked, trying to keep the desperation out of my voice. She hesitated. "It's not that simple. They have resources, a legal team. This could get expensive and ugly very quickly." "I don't care about expensive," I said firmly. "I care about the truth." Maya studied me for a moment, then nodded. "All right, but if we're going to do this, we need to be smart about it. They'll try to paint you as a disgruntled ex-friend trying to cash in on their success. We need to control the narrative. Over the next few weeks, we built our case methodically. Maya helped me organize my evidence into a clear, undeniable timeline showing the evolution of my work and its subsequent theft by David. Meanwhile, Quantum Leap was everywhere. David appeared on tech podcasts, gave interviews about his innovative approach to AI development. Each appearance, each quote about building everything from scratch made my blood boil. Then came the interview that changed everything. David was featured in a major tech magazine discussing Quantum Leap's meteoric rise. The interviewer asked about rumors that the core technology had been developed by someone else. David laughed, that same dismissive laugh I'd heard in the coffee shop. I know who you're talking about, Alex Torres. He was an intern at a startup where I used to mentor. Rock Coffee sat in on some meetings. Now he's trying to claim he invented everything. It's sad, really. Some people just can't handle seeing others succeed. I stared at the words until they blurred. Coffee, meetings, intern. He was erasing me, reducing years of work and friendship to nothing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at my computer, surrounded by evidence of my contribution. Our contribution to what became Quantum Leap. Then I had an idea. I started coding. Not AI this time, but a simple website. I uploaded every piece of evidence I had, emails, videos, code commits, all organized chronologically. Each item was time-stamped, verifiable, undeniable. Then I wrote a blog post. Not angry, not accusatory, just facts. I described the development of the algorithm, our collaboration, the moment I discovered the theft. Everything documented, everything proven. Maya called me as soon as she saw it. Alex, this is risky. They could sue you for defamation. Let them, I replied. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation, right? And everything on that site is true. The website went live at midnight. By morning, it had gone viral in the tech community. Developers, engineers, and industry insiders were picking apart the evidence, verifying timestamps, analyzing code similarities. #Quantum theft started trending on Twitter. David's PR team scrambled to contain the damage, releasing statements about misunderstandings and parallel development. But the evidence was too clear, too detailed to dismiss. Then came the email from Lisa Chen, David's sister and Quantum Leap's CFO. We need to talk, she wrote, not through lawyers. Just us. I stared at her message for a long time, remembering all the dinners I'd shared with their family, all the times Lisa had teased us about being married to our computers. What do you think? I asked Maya. She frowned at her screen. Legally, I'd advise against any unofficial communication. But sometimes resolving things person to person is better than letting lawyers fight it out. I agreed to meet Lisa at a quiet restaurant away from the tech corridor. She was already there when I arrived, looking tired and worried. He screwed up, she said as soon as I sat down. David, he lost himself somewhere along the way. Got caught up in the idea of being the next tech genius, the next Zuckerberg. That doesn't excuse what he did, I said quietly. No, she agreed. It doesn't. But I'm hoping we can fix this before it destroys everything, including your friendship. I almost laughed. Friendship? Lisa, he stole my work and then tried to erase me from the story completely. That's not something friends do. She pushed a folder across the table. We want to make this right. The board is prepared to offer you a significant ownership stake in Quantum Leap, plus a seat on the Technical Advisory Committee. Full recognition for your contributions to the core technology. I opened the folder. The numbers made my head spin. It was more money than I'd ever imagined having. And David? I asked. What does he say about this? Lisa's hesitation told me everything. He'll come around. Once he sees it's the only way forward. I closed the folder. That's not good enough. What do you want, Alex? Lisa asked, frustration creeping into her voice. Name your price. I leaned back, studying her face, so similar to David's, yet somehow kinder. I want him to admit what he did. Publicly. No PR spin, no carefully worded statements about misunderstandings. The truth. He'll never agree to that, she said quietly. His pride won't let him. Then we have nothing to discuss. I stood up, leaving the folder on the table. I'll see you in court. The next morning, Quantum Leap's lawyers sent a cease and desist letter demanding I take down the website. I forwarded it to Maya without comment. Her response was immediate. They're scared. The evidence is too strong, and they know it. Want to see something interesting? She sent me a link to an SEC filing. Quantum Leap was preparing for an IPO, hoping to raise over $200 million. My website and the growing scandal threatened everything they built, or rather, everything they had stolen. Their investors must be freaking out, Maya noted during our next meeting. An IP dispute like this could tank the whole offering. She was right. Over the next few days, I received calls from various intermediaries trying to negotiate a settlement. The offers kept getting bigger, but they all had one thing in common. They wanted me to sign an NDA and pretend none of it had happened. I refused each one. Then came the threats. Anonymous emails suggesting I should think carefully about my future in tech. Comments on my website claiming I was mentally unstable, bitter, delusional. I recognized David's writing style in some of them. But I had support too. Former classmates came forward, confirming they remembered my work on the algorithm. My old professors vouched for my capabilities. The tech community, often quick to tear people down, rallied around the evidence I presented. One morning, I arrived at work to find an unexpected visitor waiting in the lobby, James Zhang, the CEO of RiverTech, one of Silicon Valley's most respected AI companies. Interesting website you've got there, he said, extending his hand. Want to get coffee? Over the next hour, James laid out a proposition. RiverTech wanted to hire me not as an engineer, but as the head of a new AI development division. They'd fund my research, protect my intellectual property, and give me the resources to continue my work. What's the catch? I asked. No catch. We've reviewed your code, your documentation. What you built, what was stolen from you. It's extraordinary. We want that kind of innovation at RiverTech. Properly credited, of course. It was tempting. Very tempting. But I need to finish this first, I said. I can't walk away and let them win. James nodded. The offer stands. Handle your business, then come talk to us. That evening, as I was leaving the office, I got an urgent call from Maya. Check your email. Now. There in my inbox was a message from David. The subject line. I'm sorry. My hands shook as I opened it. Alex, you were right. About everything. The algorithm, the code, all of it, it was yours. I got caught up in my own ambition and convinced myself I deserved the credit because I made it real. But that was a lie. I betrayed you, betrayed our friendship, our trust, everything we built together. The truth is, I was jealous. You were always the brilliant one, the true innovator. I just rode your coattails and then stole your glory. I've asked the PR team to draft a statement admitting everything. Lisa says it will probably kill the IPO. Maybe that's what I deserve. I know it's too late for us to ever be friends again, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry. David. I read the email 3 times before calling Maya. Is this real? I asked, not some PR stunt. It seems genuine, she said. Their lawyers just contacted me about drafting a settlement agreement. They're offering full credit, significant compensation, and a public admission of wrongdoing. I sat in silence, processing everything. Alex, what do you want to do? What did I want? The question had seemed so simple weeks ago. I wanted justice, recognition, vindication. Now that it was within reach, I wasn't so sure. I thought about all those nights in the computer lab, David and I dreaming about changing the world. About the countless dinners with his family, Lisa teasing us about our coding obsession. About the moment it all fell apart in that coffee shop. Set up a meeting, I said finally, not with their lawyers, with David. We met at our old college campus in the computer lab where it all began. David looked different, older, tired, the confidence drained from his posture. Your email, I said, sitting across from him. Did you mean it? He nodded, unable to meet my eyes. Every word. I lost myself, Alex, lost sight of everything that mattered. Why? We could have built this together. It could have been our success story, not just yours. Because I wanted to be you, he said quietly. You were always the genius, the one with the real vision. I was just there. When I saw the opportunity to take your work and make it mine, I convinced myself I deserved it, that I was just taking what should have been mine anyway. I looked around the lab at the computers where we'd spent so many hours coding, dreaming, building. You know this changes everything, right? The company, the IPO. I know, Lisa's furious. The board is probably going to fire me. He laughed bitterly. Turns out karma's real. We sat in silence for a while, years of friendship and betrayal hanging between us. I have an idea, I said finally. But you're not going to like it. 2 months later, Quantum Leap held a press conference. David stood at the podium, cameras flashing, and told the truth. All of it. He'd admitted to stealing my work, apologized publicly, and announced a restructuring of the company. Under the new arrangement, I became Chief Technology Officer, with full credit for the core technology. David stepped down as CEO but remained on the board. The company would move forward with both of us involved, each in our proper roles. The IPO was delayed but not canceled. When it finally happened 6 months later, the shares soared. Turned out the market appreciated honesty more than they feared scandal. Rivertech's James Zhang sent me a message. Interesting solution. The offer still stands if you ever change your mind. I kept his email but didn't respond. There was too much work to do at Quantum Leap, too many new ideas to explore. This time, with proper credit and protection. Lisa took over as CEO, proving to be a better leader than her brother ever was. She had the vision to see what Quantum Leap could become, not just an AI company, but a model for how tech companies could operate with transparency and integrity. As for David and me, we're not friends anymore, not like we were. Some betrayals cut too deep to fully heal. But we're colleagues now, working together professionally, each contributing in our own way. Sometimes, late at night in my new office, I look at the framed magazine cover on my wall. It's not the one that made me so angry. It's a newer one, showing David and me together under the headline, Quantum Leap. A story of innovation, betrayal, and redemption. The article tells the true story, not just of the technology, but of what happens when ambition overshadows friendship, and what's possible when honesty finally wins out. My phone buzzes. A text from Maya. Another acquisition offer. Want to hear it? I smile and type back, not interested, some things aren't for sale. She responds with a thumbs up. She understands now what I learned through all of this. Success means nothing if you lose yourself along the way. The next morning, I pass David in the hallway. We nod to each other, professional but distant. He's changed, become humbler, more thoughtful. Sometimes I catch him watching me with what looks like regret. But that's his burden to bear, not mine. I have work to do, real work, building something that could actually change the world. This time with my name on it, my vision leading the way. And every line of code I write reminds me that some victories aren't about winning or losing. They're about standing up for what's right, about being true to yourself even when it would be easier to give in. That's worth more than any IPO.